So, weiter geht es mit Vampyr auf meinem Kanal. Wir sind auf dem Weg Richtung Restaurant, um Essen zu holen. Irgendeine außergewöhnliche Mahlzeit. Irgendwas war da. Und ich würde sagen, wir machen das einfach erstmal. Okay, hier vorne links und dann irgendwo wieder rechts. Links, rechts, links, rechts. Hier nach links war's. Was? Wollt ihr mich verarschen? Jetzt bin ich doch schon wieder hier. Betrug. Ja. Und jetzt? Jetzt ist es weg. Ah, irgendwo hier ist es. Seid ihr für Leute?
See them fancy clothes? Fuck, it's fast!
Oh, was ist denn hier los? Nein, da wollte ich gar nicht hin. Wer bist du?
There's one of them! Watch yourselves!
Was geht denn hier ab?
I'll send you back to the bloody grave!
Irgendein Park. Komm, dich töte ich auch noch. Gut, da drunter ist ein Vampir. Vampire in Brooklyn. Übrigens, guter Film, kann ich euch nur empfehlen. So, raus hier. Raus hier. Im Restaurant rein. So, hier das wahrscheinlich. Erstmal hier durchschnitzeln.
Burn it,
Ja, komm
boys!
her.
Shit, die!
So. Kann man hier wo rein? Ne, hier ist,
It's locked, all right.
lässt sich von dieser Seite nicht öffnen. Was ist das hier?
A restaurant where the guests are blindfolded before being seated.
Wie komme ich denn da hoch?
It's locked. It's locked, all right.
Oh,
It's one of them! That leech is fast!
hä. Schöne Attacke. Gefällt mir. So, was gibt's hier? Mhm. So, hier geht's runter. Das ist bestimmt die Tür, oder? Die verschlossen war. Oh, Kasse geplündert. Kasse. Hier wie in Hand. An Showdown. Ist leider keine goldene gewesen. Yes. Gut. War bestimmt der Ladenbesitzer hier. Was liegt hier? Gute doppeltläufige Flinte. Okay. Die liegt einfach so rum. Die liegt einfach so da rum. Okay, da würde ich sagen, gehen wir mal einfach hier diese Blutspur entlang. Geht da rein. Na komm, gehen wir erstmal hier rein. Gehen wir da rein. Achtung und zack. Ich bin einfach
This is
so
Braille.
überpowered.
I need someone who can read this.
Na gut, der Typ ist leider tot, der uns das übersetzen kann. Aber da kann ich ja nichts dafür. Der ist so gestorben einfach. Es war ja nicht meine Absicht, dass der stirbt. Gut, das war's hier. Tempelgarten. Gut. Wo führt dieser Weg hin? Hey, dahin.
I cannot enter.
Ja, wie immer. Geht's hier durch? Immerhin. Prima. Oh, eine wilde Bestie. Kommst du zu mir? Nein, dahin. Der kommt doch von da. Tot. Yay. Hier ist noch eine alte Hexe. Prima. So, hier ist ein Haus. Mitten im Nichts. Aber es sieht so aus, als könnte man da nichts machen. Düstere Straßen. Okay, hier geht's dann wieder zu dem Gebiet rein, wo die Überlebenden sind. Westend.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. A great night, what?
I have found a restaurant that could satisfy you, Mr. Russell. The most intriguing and exotic restaurant in London.
Really? You have piqued my interest. Where is it?
It's a place where you eat in complete darkness and try to identify your meal without anything but your palate.
My, oh my, how interesting. It could even be fun to eat a little poisson et frites that way. Oh, thank you, Dr. Reed. Please, have this for your research.
Oh ja, 200. Super, danke.
I may have a look at your...
Na komm, kaufen wir mal. Wer weiß, für was das gut ist.
Good.
Nichts Neues, okay.
Please, sir.
So, was gibt's noch für eine Mission? Die können wir nicht machen, das Haus finden. Also die Mission hier.
Whether you need to buy something or not, I am happy to help.
Westend. Wo sollen wir denn hier hin? Achso, das sind Sammlerobjekte. Ja gut, die müsste ich dann erstmal irgendwo finden. Weil ich habe jetzt hier keinen Bock, alles abzusuchen. Wenn ich es finde, dann finde ich das und wenn nicht, dann nicht. Weil damit will ich euch jetzt nicht auf die Folter spannen, die Kacke hier zu suchen. Was geht hier ab? Was ist das hier? Achso, ne, da will ich nicht hin. Da kamen wir her. Gut, dann gehen wir zu dem Vampir-Club. Gehen wir zu diesem Club. Askelon Club. Gut. Vampirita. Askelon Club.
Do you know where you are standing right now?
In front of the Askelon Club, I presume.
The Askelon Club only summons or ostracizes. What is your business tonight?
I received an invitation. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Welcome to the Askelon Club, then, Dr. Reed. Please proceed. Lord Redgrave is waiting on you upstairs.
Was geht denn hier ab? Wie liegen die Toten in eurem Haus? Seid ihr noch ganz knusper oder wie? Was denkst du, wenn das jemand sieht?
There has been quite a battle here.
Alter. Alter.
I'm sure the Askelon Club has the money to replace the furniture.
Gut, die hätten auch mal ein bisschen putzen können hier.
Welcome to the Askelon Club, then, Dr. Reed. Welcome to the Askelon Club, then, Dr. Reed.
Ach komm. So, da geht's rein. Aber ich schätze mal, wir müssen die Treppe nach oben. Daher gehen wir erstmal da rein.
It's locked.
Was auch sonst. Ist immer alles zu. Oh, ein Brief. Okay. Das Sammlerobjekt. Die linke Seite noch abchecken. Und dann geht's die Treppe hoch. Ist auch eine Tür. Oh oh, wo gehst du denn jetzt hin? Gehe ich da wieder raus? Das wäre so ärgerlich, wenn ich da jetzt wieder rausgehe. Naja, komm, lad schneller. Das ist ja Nicht zum Aushalten. Westend, ich bin wirklich draußen. Oh, hier ist doch Kacke, Alter. Es ist Kacke. Wo bin ich denn jetzt hier? Warum bin ich hier draußen? Jetzt bin ich bei der, oder wie? Komm, lass mich wieder rein. Also ich finde, die hätten das mal dazu schreiben können an die Türen, wo es rausgeht. Ob es rausgeht oder wo anders dann nach innen reingeht. Um einfach diese unnötig langen Wartezeiten da zu vermeiden. So, Askelon Club. Gut, willkommen zurück. Guter Dolch. Bin mal gespannt, ob der gut ist.
It's locked, all right.
Verschlossen. Schilling. Das Schwert könnte ich gebrauchen. So was Gutes geben sie mir nicht. Da geht's rein. Okay, dann gehe ich erstmal da. Nein!
Good evening. We repel the intruders for now.
Die gucken mich an, als wäre ich ein Vampir.
My good friends, if I may have your attention. Behold our visitor, the good Dr. Reed. Newborn of blood so pure and strong that even my friend Fergal Bansher was no match for him.
Here, here, here.
Come forward, young Ekon, for we have so much to discuss. Welcome to the Askelon Club, Dr. Reed. I am Lord Redgrave, Earl of Bristol and chairman of this exclusive association.
Lord Redgrave.
At last we meet. I've been eager to make your acquaintance. I've heard some astounding things about you. Please accept my condolences for your loss, Dr. Reed.
Thank you, my lord. Lady Ashbury expressed your wish to meet me.
Yes. The lady has always been a useful acquaintance, though not always reliable. Is she a good friend of yours?
Yes, she is. I may even say I admire her probity and her kindness. She has helped me since I was reborn.
The centuries have taught me never to trust a woman completely, especially if she is immortal. Too prone to emotions, if you ask me. Too fickle when it comes to important decisions.
My lord, do not expect me to speak ill of Lady Ashbury.
Of course not, and I praise your loyalty. Would you offer the same fidelity to the Empire?
What do you mean?
I speak of the Skull Plague that threatens London and the country. You have been on the front line in the East End, but the time has come to open up a second front here.
The epidemic has escaped the quarantine. You have new cases of the outbreak.
We don't know for certain, but we cannot allow the disease to threaten the prominent heads of Great Britain.
Why do you suddenly need me?
The Askelon Club only recruits the best, and you definitely fit the bill. Your scientific and medical reputation alone would qualify you as a candidate.
You want me to find possible sources of the outbreak in the West End. Is that it?
Ah, straight to the point, like all eager newborns. We shall have time to talk about all this, Dr. Reed, but first, I should like to get to know you better.
Talk? Is that the only reason you asked me here?
Well, no. I also wanted to meet the intriguing Ekon, who made such a powerful progeny of his sister. You have not learned the name of your maker, am I correct?
No, I haven't.
Have no embarrassment, Dr. Reed. We all make mistakes. But whatever your lineage, you are definitely Ascalon material.
What do you mean?
I would like you to become a member of the Ascalon Club, and to serve me as such.
Before I accept, I have so many questions.
Please ask.
What does it mean to be a member of the Ascalon Club?
It means that you swear to protect the interests of the Crown, that you become a loyal servant of the British Empire.
Do you have any official recognition from the government? A charter from His Majesty the King?
No. Of course, the Ascalon Club publicly supports the Empire, but the true nature of its members remains a secret.
Am I supposed to follow orders?
As founder and chairman of the club, I alone am entitled to make demands of our members, and I do appreciate obedience.
I killed Fergal, who claimed to be one of yours, sent to cleanse the East End of all Skulls. Will his death be an issue?
Do not worry. My priorities have changed. Fergal was a zealous servant of mine, but like any servant, he had his limitations and is readily replaced if necessary.
What is the Ascalon Club's express purpose?
We follow the credo of William Marshall, the greatest knight who ever lived. As was he, we are sworn to protect the British Empire.
What does Ascalon mean?
Ascalon was the lance wielded by St. George, glorious patron saint of England when he slew the dragon. And like that lance, we pierce the hearts of all our nation's enemies.
William Marshall founded the Ascalon Club.
Not exactly. William Marshall granted me immortality, and I founded the club a few years later. The good knight has been gone for so long.
Okay, treten wir bei.
I agree to join the club.
This is good news. Good news indeed in these crucial times. Let's inform the Assembly formally and proceed with your initiation.
My initiation?
Fear not. Nothing fancy nor dangerous. It is just that we, the members of Ascalon, believe that tradition and custom are the backbone of this country. My fellow members, dear friends, please gather and welcome this Ekon as one of our own.
Is he worthy? Is his blood pure?
Well, speak, Dr. Reed, in front of the most sacred blood. The blood of our beloved William Marshall, speak now. Will you serve and protect the crown as he did?
Yes, I will.
Then, young Ekon, it is time to testify with your blood. It is time to sign the Book of Allegiance. I know it's awfully gothic and a tad pedantic, but England's traditions are the backbone of our nation. Delightful. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. Take your place among the bearers of the lance.
One of us! One of us!
That went well, did it not? It is always useful to bolster the troops' morale, especially before a difficult battle.
You have the makings of a general, my lord.
I was, though very long ago. Well, not quite a general, but a proud defender of the crown.
So why did you really want to meet me?
Straight to the point again, young Ekon. All right, let's talk, you and I, Lance Sparrow.
I'm listening, my lord.
According to my spies, you have worked with Dr. Edgar Swansea on the epidemic, and your findings were quite alarming.
Do you know Edgar Swansea?
Not personally, but I've been told he has some sort of immortal fetish and is a good friend of yours.
Does it bother you that I consider him my good friend?
As long as you reveal nothing of the club's inner workings, why should I forbid you engaging in conversation with the good Dr. Swansea?
Yes, I'm convinced the recent invasion of frenzied Skulls in London is directly linked to the epidemic. This is not the Spanish flu, but something else.
I would be glad to hear more of your discoveries, Dr. Reed, but for now, my main concern is the security of London's inhabitants, both mortal and immortal.
What do you mean?
Alarmed by the epidemic, the Guard of Prewen has started a war against us British vampires. To appease the situation, we must eradicate the Skulls.
I have met peaceful and wise Skulls. To exterminate them means we are no better than vampire hunters.
Skulls are hideous, shameful creatures that give all Ekon a bad name.
So, what do you want me to do?
I want you to investigate the city thoroughly. I have reason to fear there are cases of contagion in this part of town. Our absolute priority is to find and cleanse them.
And how would you like me to proceed?
By all means necessary, Dr. Reed. You are now a member of the Ascalon Club, and you have carte blanche. Interrogate the locals, follow all the leads you find, and get results. How's your investigation going, Dr. Reed? Time is our enemy.
I have a few questions for your lord.
All right.
Die Bannstufe wurde erhöht. Jetzt bin ich Bannstufe 4.
You made me swear on the blood of William Marshall during my initiation ceremony. Why was that?
William Marshall was the most glorious knight who ever lived. He served 5 kings and was a living example of probity for all. And he was my maker.
William Marshall was a vampire? Is this some sort of joke? Wait. Could he be my maker?
That would be joyful news, for it would mean he still walks among us. But alas, the great knight has left this world for good.
Why is his blood so sacred to the Ascalon Club?
He was simply the greatest defender of the realm we have ever known. I fought by his side at the Battle of Preston, and he made me his progeny following the fight.
May I ask you about the mortal who attended my initiation? Mr. Aloysius Dawson.
A member of the club does not normally ask questions about other members. We trust each other mutually.
So he really is a member then?
Indeed. Only the most eminent members are allowed to attend such ceremonies. Even if I admit some of us fled during the first hours of the Great Hunt.
But Mr. Dawson is mortal. Are you not afraid he might reveal who you are? Especially to your enemies.
Aloysius Dawson is a man of his word, as are all of us. This is the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. We do not grant access to the unworthy.
What can you tell me about the Great Hunt?
It's a major concern, and I'm convinced we'll only get a satisfactory conclusion by putting an end to the epidemic.
I have already met Geoffrey McCullum. I am certain he will persist until he has killed every last vampire.
The Guard's current successful recruitment campaign is driven by the ravenous behavior of the Skulls.
I see. So without the epidemic creating Skulls, the Guard could not convince anybody of our presence.
Exactly. Once we have put the epidemic behind us, we need only wait until the Guard grows old and weak. Time will once again become our ally.
What about the risk of a full-scale attack here? Jeffrey McCullum is a daring leader.
That is exactly why so many of our number have left the country until things improve. But not me. I founded this club. I'll die defending it.
Goodbye, Lord Red.
Godspeed.
Okay. Stufe 20, oh, den werde ich nie aussaugen können. Wer bist denn du? Kann ich mit euch auch reden?
Good evening, Dr. Reed. How does it feel to be this evening's centerpiece? Figuratively.
It's quite unsettling. As a doctor, I am more used to being the observer than the subject observed.
Do not be alarmed. The Ascalon Club has a tried and tested policy for choosing its initiates.
May I ask who you are, sir?
Why would you be interested?
Well, as you seem to be the only man in the room with a beating heart, you draw quite a bit of attention yourself.
Ah, vampire senses never cease to fascinate me. They dwarf those of mere mortals. I am Aloysius Dawson, by the way.
Are you a member of the club?
Yes, I am. And I have been for many years. And will be until the day I die.
What can you tell me about it?
It's not really my place to give you such information. I am merely a mortal member. And a dying one at that.
Ja, ist kein Vampir,
Are
oder
you
wie?
sick?
Personally, I consider my advancing years are a sickness in itself. My body is slowly abandoning me, Dr. Reed.
Are you not afraid? You are surrounded by vampires.
Sir, it's for that very reason that I joined the club in the first place.
Is not the nature of this club a secret, shared by only a privileged few?
My dear Dr. Reed, I have spent years and a fortune precisely to gather that kind of information.
So you asked for membership?
I have been a member of many clubs in many countries. But I must admit, this one is my favorite.
What can you tell me about Lord Redgrave?
I would not dare speak of our chairman without his consent.
Mr. Dawson, of Dawson and Dawson, the wealthiest man in England. It is a pleasure to meet such a prominent figure of London.
A withering London figurehead, to be precise.
Are you sick, Mr. Dawson? I am a doctor, you know.
My case is beyond the scope of traditional medicine. I have spent fortunes on the world's most competent doctors to arrive at that diagnostic conclusion.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Should I suppose that you're here in search of some form of immortality?
Absolutely not. I'm here to implement my plan to save the city I was born in. To cast out the ghastly evil that has us all on our knees.
What do you know about the Guard of Prewin?
I should not say this, but I admire their commitment. This is what the nation needs right now.
But they are our enemies.
They are not mine, Dr. Reed.
Would you help them?
No. There is a time for such methods. But brute force will not be enough to fight this plague. We have to think differently.
What is the situation like in this part of town?
I am sure Lord Redgrave will enlighten you more effectively than I.
Money cannot solve every problem. This mysterious epidemic is going to require more than money can buy.
You're right. Money is nothing unless one has the will to wield it. I have a plan, sir. A radical one that will save all that is essential in London.
What is your plan, then?
Quarantine and barricades are futile. What we need is a wall. A formidable, unscalable wall to isolate the deserving from the infected masses.
Complete isolation has proven effective throughout history, but the death toll has always been a high one.
I am glad you understand the concept of necessary sacrifice.
Are you not mistaking sacrifice for summary execution?
Why do you care? Are you not a vampire? Removed from all mortal concerns? Decisiveness is what the city needs, and it needs it now.
Okay. Ach, das war die Tür, wo verschlossen war vorhin. Okay. Kann ich bei dir noch was sagen?
Yes.
Goodbye, Lord.
Godspeed.
Okay, okay. Gut, dann war noch dieser Raum, da wollte ich ja vorher rein. Oh, Loot. Lass mir hier das gute Zeug plündern. Schlüssel für den Keller. Okay. Schlüssel für den Keller. Dann gehen wir in den Keller. So, wo war denn der Keller? War der hier? Das hier? Yes. Hm. Okay, Sammelobjekt. Okay. Sonst gibt's ja nichts. Hier ist noch eine Tür, da will ich rein. Das war aber nicht viel. Untersuche den Bürger auf die Infektion. Okay. Kann ich jetzt mit dir reden?
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, then, Dr. Reed.
Okay, dann geht's wohl wieder raus hier. Ja. Gut, die Infizierte wird diese Frau sein, die die Ratten da verspeist. Aber die anderen scheinen mir gesund zu sein. Im Westend.
I think Lord Redgrave just suggested I was sired by an ancient vampire.
His right to vote is only the first step.
Mhm.
Good evening.
And good.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual recently?
A few days ago, I spotted a strange house while campaigning for women's suffrage. Awful smell. No answer when I knocked.
Where is it?
It's the Mullaneys, a nice family who live in a big house near the park in the eastern part of this neighborhood.
Goodbye, Charlotte.
She's been quite...
Okay.
Good
Okay.
evening.
Nichts
I may
Neues.
have a look at your...
Aber nichts Neues. Nein, so weit wollte ich gar nicht zurück.
Good evening.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual?
Not really. Wait, now that you mention it, I don't see the McPhersons in my favorite restaurants. They love delicate meals too, you understand.
Thank you. It may be nothing, but I'll investigate anyway. Where do they live?
They have a house in the southern part of the district, somewhere north of the railway bridge. There is a courtyard, if I remember rightly.
Goodbye, Mr. Russ.
Okay. Achso. Ist der da? Und wo ist hier unser Mann? Oben. Im Zimmer oben. Immer noch. Kommen wir hier durch? Warum muss ich hier außen rum? Cool. Sechs von 6. Mach ich. Aluminiumteil. Okay. Waffe komplett aufgewertet.
I'm currently investigating sources of the epidemic in this part of town. Do you know anything useful?
Not really, except all the McPhersons' servants resigned a few days ago. They feared becoming infected, they said.
The McPhersons? Where do they live?
I think it's a rich house near the railway bridge in the southern part of the district.
Okay.
Thank you, Avery.
Your bedroom... Who could have done such an evil thing? Oh, Miss Reed.
So, ich habe Bandstufe 4. Jetzt könnte ich eigentlich noch mal zu dieser einen Frau gehen. Wenn ich den Weg noch mal finde. Wo kommst du denn her? Nee, das war irgendwo hier gewesen. Da unten. Glaube ich, oder? Dann hier nach links. Da ist Loot.
Good evening. I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Can you help me?
Infection is everywhere these days. But if you ever go to the park near that swanky house belonging to the Mullaneys...
Yes? What about the Mullaneys? What about their house?
Not enough noise for a big family with children. Not enough movement. Closed doors. What is going on in there? I wonder.
Okay.
You need some...
Was gibt's bei dir Neues?
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual recently?
Infection. Infection. The rats carry it, I heard. Rats. Rats, rats. Many rats around that big house. Funny smell, too. Dead flesh.
And where is this house?
West of the park. Not very far. A big house with no sound, no light, no life left.
I must go now. Goodbye, Miss Billow.
Okay. Gehen wir hier lang. Ich habe gerade auch keinen Plan, wo das gewesen sein sollte, dieses Haus. Was das hier? Ja.
Hello again, Venus.
Jonathan.
I'm sure you can spare me a few minutes. For old time's sake.
Of course you may enter, Jonathan. I remember when Mary came here with her husband and her son. They were such a beautiful family.
Eine Uhr. Eine Uhr. Erstmal hier ein bisschen plündern. Geht ja genug Zeug hier rumliegen.
I know that you are always welcome here. But at this hour of night?
Ja, ja, ich bin ja auch gleich wieder weg.
Great War. I fear the worst.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Venus.
So you returned from the war in one piece too. Thank God. My Clarence is back home too.
How is the old rascal?
Probably outside, chasing ghosts and chimeras. Clarence has changed a lot since he returned from the war, you know.
How have you been since the last time we met? How long has it been? 3 years now?
I've done my duty, like all British women. You have no idea what it was like to wait for months without knowing if I'd still be a wife or a widow.
I understand. Luckily, this part of town has been saved from the worst of the bombings, from what I've seen.
Yeah. The flu has killed here too, of course, but not on such a large scale as in other parts of town.
Have you noticed anything peculiar about the neighborhood recently?
You mean except for your return to town? No. Oh, and again, Jonathan, please accept my condolences for your mother and your sister. Such a tragedy.
Why is my return so surprising?
It's more an unexpected happy end than a surprise. You and Clarence, back from the war. You have no idea how hard it's been for me.
Thank you, Venus. It was so sudden. And I've been so busy, I haven't spoken to anyone about it.
I wish I could have assisted at the funeral, but you know, it's been so quick. And what with the epidemic in the streets?
There's no need to apologize, my dear. It's normal, considering the circumstances.
No, it's not. I am sure that Clarence has not even thought to present you his condolences. He is too busy with his penny dreadful stories.
Venus, why do you worry so much about your family's reputation?
Everyone laughs at Clarence now. And they avoid me because they believe I share his insane opinions. I'm a leper in my own community.
Tell me about Clarence's obsession with vampires.
It drives me so crazy it makes my stomach hurt. I was so relieved to have him back. But I quickly realized he'd lost his mind in France.
I understand your irritation, Venus. But you have to accept the trauma Clarence endured on the battlefield.
The question is simple, Jonathan. Is my husband mad? Yes or no? Do vampires exist? Or is Clarence a lunatic?
So you don't believe Clarence?
If poor Mary, bless her soul, had tried to convince you of the existence of bloody vampires, would you have believed her? Seriously?
The important question is, what do you really think of your husband?
I'm tough, Jonathan. He should have told me the horrors he witnessed, however appalling it was, instead of inventing a fantasy about blood-drinking monsters.
Okay.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual?
The McPhersons. I heard they locked themselves in their own house.
They could just be afraid of getting sick.
Perhaps you're right. But if I were you, I'd pay them a visit. A big house, reachable through a courtyard, to the north of the railway bridge.
Okay, vielen Dank.
Goodbye.
So, gehen wir nochmal hoch. Und dann ist die Folge auch schon zu Ende. Wo geht's denn hoch? Hier drinnen? Hier. Bingo. Bingo. So, hier kann man looten. Da ist nichts. Hier geht's rein. Ja, die hat ganz schön viel Zeug hier.
It's locked, all right.
Verlorene Bibliothek. Ups. Okay, war das Sammlerstück wahrscheinlich für den Typen da. Gut. Gehen wir hier raus. Geh zu. Gut, hier geht's dann ins Haus rein. Das machen wir aber in der nächsten Folge. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zusehen und würde eine Bewertung da lassen. Ja, Sprachfehler auf übelste. Heute ist Freitagabend. Jo, anstrengende Woche gehabt. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zusehen. Bitte lasst eine Bewertung da, wenn euch die Folge gefallen hat. Ansonsten auch einen Daumen nach unten. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zusehen. Euer Prinz und bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss. Schaltet wieder ein.